we're back for episode 0 of Curse of Tatyana, using Curse of Strahd from Wizards of the Coast with the Zweihänder RPG system. Last we broke, the armor was sent careening over the edge of the stairs all the way down to the first floor by Dr. Wolf. But a few moments later, it seemed to clatter back together, ascending up the stairs, reanimated. Benedict, what are you going to do?
What do we do? And I will wait.
Okay. Mortimer?
I'm going to position myself at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, holding my scythe ready to strike him, or this armor, whatever it is, upon its, once it gets within range.
Okay. So you're just going to wait as well?
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. You hear this clink, 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 clink. It's beginning to ascend the stairs. It is from the first floor now to the second floor. Alfie, what are you going to do?
I am going to pull my sword from its sheath.
Which sword is that?
That is my Zweihänder.
Okay. Washing.
It's in bold.
The first person with a Zweihänder in Zweihänder.
It appears in bold every time you use it.
Zweihänder.
It's in all caps. It is an umlaut above the pommel. Washing.
Hopefully these are high ceilings of this period.
Versus Siegfried.
The ceiling's
Versus
actually
Siegfried.
here, now that you mentioned it. So first off, it's 1 AP to draw your weapon.
Of course.
The ceilings here on the third floor are about 8 foot high. So the sword kind of hits almost... So this ceiling is 8 foot high, by the way. Your sword kind of clink as an example, I'll show you. Because we actually have...
Yeah, let's say, where's that Zweihänder?
We have a Zweihänder somewhere over here to illustrate the actual size of the sword.
None of the people
Deep-
listening can hear him
Deep
right
in
now.
the depths
So if you
of
can imagine-
the basement.
This is the Zweihänder.
This is great for radio, by the way.
It is. So when you draw it, it kind of strikes along here, along the ceiling rafters. So you're kind of holding it like this.
Okay, well then I will move to the edge. I will move to position myself on the stairs so I can use my weapon.
Well, unfortunately, you've got Mortimer standing right in front of you. The stairs are about wide enough for a man, but the sweep of this huge scythe would easily take you off your feet. Does your weapon have reach?
Yes.
You may stand behind him.
Okay.
You can grab the weapon with hilt in the inside of the fuller and stab down if you wish to do so.
Okay, I will do that, and then I will issue challenge to said creature of the abyss.
Ooh, yeah.
We will send you back to hell.
Love it.
The steward and I will send you to where you belong, Her Majesty.
All right. So you have 1 AP left. I'm sorry, he has 1 AP left for you.
I will bank that AP because
Nigel, what are you going to do?
I will take the time to
wisely I don't know what this creature is going to do.
open as many doors as I can on this landing to provide many avenues of escape should they be necessary.
Good idea.
I love it. So you will rush over to the nearest door, and you'll draw it open.
Yeah.
As you open the door, dust and cobwebs seem to shroud an elegantly appointed bedroom in an adjoining nursery. There's this... like a child is kind of groaning to be picked up out of its crib. My daddy! The child is crying. That's 2 AP, or 3 AP for you. Move over there and open it.
Okay.
Okay. Krista? What are you gonna do?
I will push my way past the gambler into the room with the nursery.
You rush in immediately, looking around desperately for baby Walter, or toddler Walter. You move past the nursemaid's rocking chair. You come to the what do they call that? Why? I have a child.
Cradle?
The crib. Yeah.
Cradle,
This
crib.
tall crib, this cradle that would where a toddler could not crawl over the walls or over the top of it. There's a bed nearby with end tables and it's covered in dust. You come over to where you heard the child, and all you can see is this desiccated husk. The remains of this child that has given way to, well, hunger. The smell is overwhelming. And then there's this black shape moving from the closet across the floor toward you.
Ghosts. Spirits.
Got no time to lose.
Well, we found the father and the mother.
There's a 13. Which is... Krista, your turn is up. Back to Benedict. Benedict, what are you going to do?
I guess I'll ready my pickaxe,
Pickaxe. Okay.
and then
You do as such. Is it two-handed?
yes.
Okay. You all are having some difficulty in this low ceiling area.
Then I will.
It's 1 AP. Or sorry, out. Or you had to unfold it, sorry. He kicks the pickaxe side, the little... They kind of fold outward. Actually, it's probably set on like a spring, so he takes the club he is walking with and jacks it on the ground and it kind of goes plink! Both sides of the spade kind of unfold. It's a gravedigger's spade, but it looks cleverly disguised as a shillelagh or an axe handle.
Gravedigger.
Both of the spades come out.
Then I'll. I think they're rescuing a babe, so I'll just kind of fall in line behind the rest of them and just kind of wait.
Okay. Mortimer?
I'll bank the other two since I can't wait.
So this thing is on the first floor and we're on the third floor?
It's on the second floor right now.
Oh, so it's coming to us?
It's got one.
You're on the third floor. It's continued to clink, clink. The rattling and the metal and the iron gritting against itself as this black pitted suit of armor is ascending the stairs. The helmet is still missing. Nothingness within.
Okay, so and it's just it doesn't have any weapons. It's just a suit of armor without a head, right?
Yeah.
So then I will walk down towards it. Actually,
What's your movement?
movement 6.
Okay.
Is that enough to get to it?
It absolutely is. As you come toward it, almost face to armor, you were struck with this intense coldness and fear. You need to make a routine resolve test.
Routine.
You're already suffering from fear.
Resolve. So that would be a 58. That is a 68, so that would be a failure.
Roll it
Want
again.
me to roll it again?
Yes.
Roll it
Give a better than half chance. That's when you should.
58.
That's right.
That's an 05. Success.
Okay. You steel yourself against it, so you spent 1 AP to meet it.
And then I'm gonna choke up on my my scythe as I intend to bring the tip of it down into the armor if the head is missing.
Is it okay? So, what type of weapon is it?
It's a two-handed scythe.
What type?
It is a simple,
No.
powerful.
Is it bladed?
Oh, it is.
Pretty sure it's
I'm pretty sure it's bladed.
Okay.
It's in here.
Bladed, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have higher ground roll strike. It's routine.
Yeah, bladed. Yeah, so routine.
Yeah, that's what I was moving up.
All right. So since I've used Harbinger of Souls, I get to use my incantations instead of my martial.
Nice.
So my simple.
That's right. He gets to strike with incantation, deal damage with the willpower bonus instead of combat bonus.
Yep. And I don't get my that because of that, and so 48. That's 07.
Okay.
Success.
The weapon ricochets off the plane armor. It does nothing. It remains unharmed. He takes a step up the stairs after doing so. Oh shit. That didn't quite go as you had intended. It's now going to be, you have 1 AP left.
I'll bank it.
Okay. The armor.
No, actually, I will do a perilous stunt. I will attempt to, using essentially the scythe as a hook, I will try to take its leg out and trip it.
No, fair enough. Okay. Go ahead and try. It is, to reach its legs from here, it's going to be challenging.
Okay. So challenging, and that would be a coordination, which I'm not trained in, so 31. That is an 80. I do not succeed.
Okay. You reach out with the hook, trying to sweep it off its legs, but you can't quite get locked underneath there. Now it's its turn. These gauntlets kind of reach out menacingly toward you. You feel the cold iron wrap around your body and begin to pull you in as the mailed gloves kind of tighten around your throat. And you hear You need to attempt to resolve a chokehold with an athletics test. This test for you is challenging.
All right. So normally 42, but minus 10 is 32. That's a 75. Oh no.
Suddenly, you see that Mortimer's side clatters to the ground, and the thing literally grabs him by the neck and lifts him up into the air as he is literally choking to death. As you will suffer 5 plus 3, so 8 physical peril.
Okay. I am ignoring 1 skill ranking.
All right, so it's Alfie's turn.
How far away is this thing?
What was your movement?
6.
That's about 6 yards down.
All right. Let's see here. What's the most perilous again?
You're looking for actions and combat in the back of your book.
Yeah. Can't remember. I'm used to just the sheets, not this fancy thing.
Right.
Okay. I was thinking about charging it.
You can certainly do that.
And
Charge and strike.
No,
Charges 2.
He's in its arms. I don't think if I charge and strike that'd be a good idea.
You want to hustle down there for 1 and then strike for a melee attack? Or maybe hustle, take aim, then strike?
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is what I'm thinking is taking out its body parts.
Like a called shot?
Like taking out its legs.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Still costs 1 AP to get down there and 2 AP for a called shot.
Okay.
You come down, you take the weapon, trying to figure out exactly how you're going to do this. You pull it into both hands, and you lunge forward. Roll to strike. This test is hard.
Okay. There's a 30% chance then. And I get a re-roll
Oh, nice.
for
that's
Knight's
right.
Order,
Uh-huh.
and neither one worked.
Okay. So no. Your weapon finds no purchase. It just kind of clatters off the armor. It remains unharmed. Okay. It is now Nigel's turn. Nigel, as you pressed into the nurse, you walked into the nursery with the cobwebs kind of like spread across the gossamer curtains and captured around the nursing bed and rocking chair. Suddenly, Dr. Wolf presses past you, reaching into the crib and recoils in horror. What do you want to do? You see this shadow moving from the closet along the floor. This long shape beginning to stretch across.
Okay. Is it headed towards Dr. Wolf?
It is, yes.
Okay. I'm, as a betting man, betting the shadow hasn't seen me, so I'm going to try to get behind it, if possible.
Sure, you can come to an area where it may where you may have caught it unawares.
And that's what I'm trying to do. Once it's
You have the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Once it tries to do whatever it's doing,
I don't have the light now.
That's right. You have a lamp sitting outside.
I'll try to stop it from doing what it's doing.
Okay. You reach out.
Okay.
Trying to grapple onto it. Go ahead and make an athletics test.
All right. Difficulty?
It is going to be trivial.
Okay. So this is going to be a 78% chance to succeed. And that is a success with a 6.
The shadow is not physical, like standing up. It is on the ground. You leap up on the ground. Your hand is just touching darkness. It continues extending across. And suddenly the shadow kind of comes up along the wall behind Krista, where the bed is right here, and the child's in there. She's reaching down to grab it, and the shadow kind of takes shape along the wall. This two-dimensional thing, and its arms kind of stretch out, almost these strange tendrils kind of rising around, almost writhing like a plant in the wind. As it kind of menacingly is raising its hands kind of reach toward the ceiling and bend upward as the claws extend across back toward the door. Slam! It shuts instantly. You have 2 action points left. You both are trapped in the nursery, and it's pitch black.
Did I remember seeing a window?
Roll a scrutinize test. This test is hard.
All right. This is going to be a 38% chance to succeed. And I rolled a 39. Did not succeed.
Okay. Oh, crap. You don't know where the window is. You thought you saw a lamp somewhere nearby. There was another hearth in here, too.
But neither is lit.
No.
So when I the room was dark when I opened it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Had some light coming in with the lamp outside, but the door has been slammed shut by the apparition.
So there was no open window, at least. Okay.
That's right.
Oh crap.
You have 2 AP and time is running out.
So I'm in the pit. It's pitch black in here.
Yeah,
okay. I'm gonna open the door.
Okay. You move back toward the door and open it wide, and light comes back within. As the light comes within, the shadow seems to shrink. Its arms kind of drawing across the ceiling, back down the wall, wrapping back around its form, and kind of shrinks down below, off the wall behind Dr. Wolf as her eyes are kind of widening, kind of sinks almost back into the closet.
I'll reach down and pick up the lamp if I have the AP left.
You do. He picks up the lamp in the threshold, which casts kind of strange light within this dusty attic. Shadows begin to play all over. The two of you are having difficulty seeing as you're now in technically low light conditions. So now we will skip the shadow and we will go direct to Dr. Wolf.
I'll look over at Nigel, sort of give the cringe and the look, and as I do so, I will hold my breath, and I will sort of grab the rotting blankets and fold the child up and try to tuck it under my arm and run with her.
Love it. All right, you grab the moldering blankets with the child wrapped inside, and you head pressing past back onto the balcony where the others are, well, I should say that, my apologies, Mortimer is. Not Mortimer, my apologies. Benedict is. I'm still getting used to names. Where the minister, Benedict, is standing out there. And it is now Benedict's turn. You're at the top of the stairs with your action points.
Okay, so seeing him being lifted into the air, Benedict is going to take his pick and hold it in front of him. And then he's going to run at the suit of armor and try and use it for leverage. And mechanically that'll be a charge and then a takedown.
Okay, sure.
That's what I was trying to
This is going to be challenging for you, and if you miss, you will
With a
reroll.
powerful weapon, you can maybe push it off the landing,
Okay.
too.
So,
I had a powerful weapon.
Yeah, I think maybe it
Didn't
was
have that.
ineffective. Yeah,
45
you have to do damage in order to.
and a 23 will succeed.
Okay,
Ooh, good.
fantastic. Is it a bladed weapon?
Yes, it is a bladed weapon.
Okay. I will make
Pickaxe is a
my
bladed
opposed test.
Yeah.
Like Pierce.
My test
So
is...
Pick.
Well, it's not
why am I
slashing.
drawing a blank here? It's been a while.
It would be routine if it was challenging for me.
That's right. And I'm looking at takedown.
Coordination.
Coordination, yeah.
Busted.
So 52. 55% actually. So no bueno.
Critical failure?
No, 0-5.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So you try to take it down, but to no avail. You all are clustered really, really closely together at this point. Two-handed weapons are now rendered obsolete unless they are adaptable. Okay. We now go to Mortimer. Go ahead and roll your escape. Your escape is going to be a challenging athletics.
Yeah.
Yes, challenging athletics.
Mortimer is not a very big guy. He's actually pretty frail. So what I want to try to do is kind of scrunch up and then try to use my legs as leverage to push off its chest.
Love it. That's good. That's good.
All right. So you said it
I'll
was.
give you plus 5% on that. That's smart.
I'm sorry. What was that?
It's going to be
plus
challenging.
5.
I'll give you plus 5% on
Challenging athletics, right?
athletics. Yeah.
All right. So we'll go with 37. That is 07. That's
Nice.
a success.
Using your leverage, you leverage the leverage, you manage to escape its grasp, dropping onto the ground, gasping for breath. His face is turned red and purple, where he was clearly being choked to death. You relinquish yourself from the cold iron gloves of this beaten old suit of armor. You now have 3 AP, but you're on the ground.
Oh, good. Actually, so what I'll do is I will search the folds of my. Would it assume that I have the reagents for the spells that I wanted the petty spells?
Sure.
Okay. So I will reach into the folds of my robe and pull out a silver tuning fork as I attempt to cast Dispel Magic.
Okay.
So I pull it out, I strike it against the ground, then point it towards the armor, hoping to dispel whatever magic is causing it to be animated.
Fair enough. Go ahead and make your. It's a petty spell, right?
It is a petty spell. Yeah.
Okay. It is going to be challenging for you.
All right, let's do some. Because I am suffering from some pearl. All right, so
Pearl.
48. Challenging. Let's go with 3, because this is a pretty interesting situation here. So,
As you take the tuning fork and he strikes it against the ground, you hear this voice, Mortimer. This name that almost like as if your father or mother was calling your name. A deep sense of familiarity coming from somewhere deep beyond. You gain 9 corruption. Now you may attempt your test.
all right.
That thing does not like magic being cast near it.
Right, so it'd be 68. That is a 92. Can I reroll that?
Yeah, reroll
Absolutely, if you want.
Let's try it. Sorry.
it. Yeah.
68. 50. Success.
Okay. It vibrates in his hand, and you can feel it. You can almost feel it vibrating in his hand. You can see it kind of shaking. Nothing happens.
Okay.
So that was it was a dispel magic. So that's petty. So that's 1. Channeling is 1. And you have 1 AP left. And you're still on the ground.
Grab my my scythe as I will just hold on to it as some sort of some trying to comfort to myself.
Fair enough. Okay. It's the armor's turn. It will reach down. Like such. Its test is... I should probably call this out for you guys. I haven't been doing a very good job of that. I apologize. It's a 65. I got a 6. Its cold, mailed glove wraps around your throat, begins to pull him up off the ground once again. Not trembling from his size or weight, just kind of like you would pick up a baseball, just kind of like, whoop, or pick up a beer for that matter, just like whoop, by the throat. Make a resist test. This test is challenging athletics.
Challenging athletics as I kick at it, saying, "Back, back!"
Back! He's kicking his legs. He's got a hold of the side.
Athletics 32. That's a 74.
Oh
Failure.
no! The scythe drops to the ground once again as you feel like So it is going to be 5 plus 3, 8 physical peril.
8 physical peril. I am ignoring 1 skill rank.
Okay. It's got a hold of Mortimer once again. Alfie.
Help him.
Sir Alfie!
Um,
Your weapon ricocheted off of it, completely ineffective.
then I am going to take him down.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make a coordination test. This test for you will be challenging.
Okay, 34. That did not work.
You kick at the thing's legs. It does not seem to move.
Since basically I can't use my sword, I'm going to drop it, pull my misery cord.
Okay, so that's 1 AP. Fing! It's 2 AP total now. I'm going to lunge out.
I'm gonna try and strike it.
Okay. Roll a strike. It is routine.
Routine. Okay, so 60. 45, I hit.
Okay. It is a bladed weapon.
It is, because it's a misery cord.
Ting, ting, ting. Ugh! Ugh! It doesn't seem to find purchase. It remains unharmed. It's
Okay.
3 AP. Nigel?
That's it.
I'm gonna close the door behind me.
Okay.
Smart.
The door is slammed shut as you have the lamp in hand. You can see that they are struggling along the foot of the second floor, along that balcony. They are having a lot of problems.
So they're on the second floor on the bottom.
Yeah.
So they're no longer on the staircase.
No.
Okay.
Are you guys on the landing?
And is this like
Yeah,
a spiral staircase?
It is.
Okay.
Do you want to stay here, ascend down, continue exploring?
I'm gonna leap on the banister and slide down. Try to land on the armor.
Love it. Okay.
You're such a rad dude.
I know.
You leap up on the banister. Go ahead and make a coordination test. This test is
gonna
going
end.
to be routine.
This is gonna end
Gleam the
poorly.
fuck out of that cube.
Okay, so 53. That's a 1. Hell yes.
It's a critical success! Oh my god!
I think that would technically be called bludgeoning.
Well,
You're-
crazier things have happened, I guess. As you come down the stairs, you crash into the suit of armor. It drops Mortimer to the ground. Mortimer, in the suit of armor, starts collapsing down the stairs at this point. So you're dropping down 1 floor, which call it. What was your movement? 6 before?
6, yeah.
Yeah. So that's 6 yards. Yeah. 6 plus 7. It's 13 damage. You both go bouncing down the stairs. The thing clatters to pieces at the foot of the stair.
Moderately
Completely
wounded.
scattered around. You drop to your feet on the second floor, kind of looking like, I don't know, that'll work. Holding on to the lamp. What do you all want to do?
Moderately wounded.
I'm gonna grab.
Oh shit, roll d6.
4.
Okay. Remember, when you fall, if you suffer injury, you actually are incapacitated and cannot
Knocked
walk.
out. Yeah.
You're not knocked out,
not
you just
knocked
can't
out?
walk.
Okay.
You're incapacitated.
I'm gonna grab the nearest piece of armor. Just hold on to it.
Okay. Oh, it's all scattered down below.
Oh,
It's all
I
like
can't reach it.
rattled to pieces and kind of falling down the stairs, almost like a waterfall of iron and blackened metals kind of rattling along the floor. It's now on the first floor. All the armor. You feel this coldness from behind the nursery door. My apologies, Dr. Wolf. You all have a moment
We gotta
to
get out of
collect
here.
yourselves to figure out what to do. The timer will start now.
I'm gonna run down the stairs.
Be careful. Remember the thing I said earlier about wet marble?
Oh yeah,
That's still true. Yeah,
You come to the foot
like
of the
that would
stairs,
be really tough.
and you can see the armor kind of scattered all around the bottom
I'm
floor.
gonna take whatever
The
pieces I
warm
can
mahogany.
find, and I'm gonna start throwing them in the fire.
Okay. You cast the breastplate into the fire. You can see the helmet settle in one of the corners. It's slowly beginning to kind of do this, but it's kind of going. begins to roll across the wooden floor toward your feet where the other breastplate's lying. What about yourself?
Well, now I'm on the first floor, right?
That's right.
Is my scythe near me, or is it still up on the second
It's still up on the second floor. You want to rush it?
Grab my scythe as I will pick myself up for, is it 2 AP, right?
Yeah.
I'll grab his scythe.
As I will also grab one of these pieces of armor and try to keep them from reconnecting. Well, most likely a hand, if possible,
Sure.
nearby.
Okay.
And hold on to it.
Fair enough. You get a hold of the mailed glove.
Yeah.
You're grabbing the scythe and heading downstairs. Is that what you want to do? Okay. What about yourself, Nigel?
I'll run down the stairs and grab a piece of something.
Okay.
And then run to the door and throw it out the door.
What do you mean throw it out the door?
Throw the piece of armor out the front door.
You can't do that. You have to go through the.
Oh, okay.
You have to go through the foyer and then go to the outside.
Okay, well, I'll head
gates.
that direction then.
Okay.
I'm also heading the same direction with the with this desecrated corpse wrapped in the old mattress. I'm heading down all the way to the foyer and then heading towards the front door.
You feel who picked up the armor? Raise your hand.
I threw mine in the fire.
But you touched it, right?
I did.
Yeah. For those who are currently touching or have touched the armor, you were filled with this sense of dread as you gain 1 corruption immediately.
Damn, you guys are corrupted motherfuckers in there.
You come to the door, to the foyer, where the double mahogany doors were flanked by the panes of the stained glass. You hear the house begin to almost shamble, tremoring like a deep beating of a heart. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. The floorboards kind of begin to stress below your feet. The house seems to be coming to life.
We should leave.
Do you all want to remain behind? You want to flee outside into the snow?
I'm trying to get outside. I'm trying to take this corpse to that brazier outside and burn this fucking thing.
Anyone want to remain inside?
No, I guess not. I mean, if everybody else is leaving and we have a yeah, go.
I mean, apparently I am not skilled enough to take down a creature of this nature. The gods have not blessed me with the ability to do so, so I will leave it.
Will you take the armor with you?
I'll throw it in the fire if I see him throw it in the fire. Seems like a good enough idea to me.
I go and throw my armor piece in the fire as well. But it's just at that moment I remember the sword and grab it on my way out.
Okay.
That mortuary sword?
Yeah.
Love it. You reach over and get off the roof. You pull it off the wall. You've got it. You've got it in hand. Right, a mortuary sword down. I think it's 2 or 3 encumbrance. I can't remember.
If he looks in his...
Not great today,
right,
but maybe
Back.
tomorrow.
That's right. You open the portico doors. You go back out into the courtyard. Rushing outside the house.
Encumbrance 1. Man.
For the mortuary sword?
Yeah, that's what it's
Badass.
That's probably a misprint. I'm pretty sure it's 2.
That or are you looking at the right... No, yeah, you're looking at the right one.
Yeah, it's probably a misprint.
It's vicious.
It is vicious.
There are no misprints. It is a perfect book.
That's
There are
right.
no problem.
You rush outside, away from the house, expecting to have the blizzard blowing all around you in the cold and the fire burning the brazier and the 2 small children. But there's nothing but fog. And this strange humidity that lingers all around you. You can hear the sounds of bullfrogs and creatures in a swamp nearby. The bayou surrounds you, these large trees that shamble with these long vines reaching toward the ground, this undergrowth that seems to stretch up out of between the broken bits of rock. This old road twists its way through this bayou, this mangrove swamp. The sun hangs low, almost like a yellow-green orb over the horizon. This haze seems to linger everywhere, growing soupy the more and more distant it is away from you, where the slopes of our trees seem to almost look like old scarecrows. This is not the place that you were.
I turned back towards the house.
It's an old gray stone house, 4 stories high, like an old tombstone, cold and quiet. No lights from within.
No snow up on it.
No snow up on its roofs. This is not the place you were.
Frogs and trees. Is it summer? Is it warm out here?
It feels incredibly warm. A tremendous amount of humidity, in fact. The soupy haze seems to almost linger in the air. Like, it's so warm that it's hard to talk. Like, it's kind of like so immediately went from extreme cold to extreme hot.
Assuming what I'll find, I'll unwrap the blanket sort of on the ground in front of me, anticipating that there will be nothing.
You unravel the blanket. Within it, there is nothing to find, save for what looks like this wooden box full of cards. It is made of carved wood. There appears to be upon it these strange symbols. It's an old deck of tarot cards, fortune tellers cards. You may write that down on your character sheet.
I'll hold them up to Nigel, like seeing if he recognizes this particular like make or deck, looking for his facial like recognition.
You see no sense of recognition on Nigel's face.
You do
These
on
aren't the
Mortimer's.
These aren't the type that you play with.
You do. I'll hold them up to him, like seeing that he seems interested in them. Like,
Hands of fate aren't to be trifled with. Be careful.
Indeed, the reading of these is very interesting, if one knows how to read them. Perhaps I will show you sometime.
The sounds of the city you fled from, the people shrieking in the streets, the fire of the buildings burning around you, your flight from Roaline led you beyond to the west into the Arnor Hills, where you were bound for the Teeth in the dead of winter. But that is not where you are now. This land is strange. The ground is marshy beneath your feet. You can see a semblance of a road that is surrounded by these, what they call those reeds, cattails, what they call them?
Cat nine tails.
Yeah, cat-eye tails, and you can see that the wind kind of carries some of the kind of the
Looks
kind of
like
cottony
cotton.
stuff
Yeah,
inside,
looks like
kind of
cotton.
carrying it across the wind. You hear a bullfrog go ribbit and kind of plop into the nearby water. The sun hangs low.
Where are we? And again, where are we?
The only way that we would be able to find out is by finding someone and asking them.
That, or perhaps if night comes and I can see the stars.
Well, I would imagine that either we were in there for far, far longer than we thought. Well, this is a very big house.
Only one house is here. There is no village, no main hold, no homes that surround it marked with the marks of the Southern Cross to indicate sickness or pestilence. Just the single stone 4-story row house.
if I remember correctly, and perhaps my memory is not what it was in my early 20s as opposed to my late, but it was hard to see, of course, in the storm, but I could have swore that house was brick before. I don't think this is the same house.
Perhaps if we went back in, we would see something different.
Hmm.
Would you like to take a look?
I don't really want to go back into any houses right now.
An old, sagging wooden 4-story home, threatening to collapse from great age. It's wood covered in algae and other growth that has grown around here wild.
Does it have a conservatory on it?
Now that you can see from this side.
You walk over to the east side.
I do.
I'll attend to you.
As you walk around to the east side, you can see up on the second floor what looks like where the conservatory once was, but all you can see now is where this tree's branches have grown inside and shattered the glass and literally choked all of the glass to pieces and wrapped around the iron of the conservatory. You can ignore that. That's not.
I know. I'm just
but,
curious about how the game plays.
Yeah.
What is going on? We'll wander back and tell them the conservatory's there. It's not the same house, but it's the same layout.
You should know that I have this really unusual tendency to be right about these things.
Can I roll an incantation test?
To what?
Well, would I have ever heard of anything like this? Like whether it be a thin veil? Are we not in Mahama anymore? Do I get that feeling? Are we not in Kansas anymore?
You may make an incantation test, and this is secret.
Okay.
No, we're in Missouri.
All right. Incantation is
This part
48.
is Missouri. Missouri is like south
100.
of, like,
That's to be a critical failure.
Yeah,
it's
true.
like south of like.
Well,
Pittsburgh.
not
That's when
only
Missouri starts.
are you uncertain where you're at, this could be many places. This could be Galleon, it could be the Roving Girdle, it could be further south, it could be anywhere in Mahama, practically, for that matter. But you feel that the voice that was calling you is somewhere out in the swamp. And you kind of feel the hackles in the back of your neck rise as you remember that voice. Mortimer. Like a father would speak to his son were he in trouble. That deep voice. That knowing voice.
Is this plant life native to anywhere around where we should have been? I'll use my.
No.
I'm an expert at plants and
Oh,
such.
sorry.
Yeah.
You were asking me.
You reach down and you kind of pluck out a nearby reed and kind of shake it free of its earth, and you inspect the worms and the grubs that crawl within it. Certainly nowhere to the west of Roaline. To the east, near the Axewater River, perhaps. But it'd be far further south of the Girdle. It'd be closer to the Pale Kingdoms.
Well, looking.
I mean, weather alone, you can't. We be hundreds, if not thousands, of leagues to be anywhere near this kind of heat. I mean, perception alone, that has to tell you. Unless, again, we have somehow been in this house for so long that the rest of the buildings around here have collapsed and a swamp has been created.
That everyone we ever knew or loved is dead now.
Right, that would have to be the case.
Either one is just as likely.
No, neither one is likely. We have lost our minds. We are hungry. It has to be this.
Precisely, because neither one is likely. Either one is just as likely.
No.
I'll examine the wounds on the. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time remembering names.
Mortimer?
Yes. On Morty's neck to see if there are bruises where the.
Oh yes, there are deep purple bruises where the life is being choked from him.
I don't know
See
how
him just
much.
like staring off into the swamp, just like weird, puzzled, deep thought, kind of just lost in thought.
I'll sort of tilt his head to the side and indicate to Alfie, like, I've never been that hungry.
All right. So my explanation is just as silly. I get it, Doctor.
We don't need to explain it. Let's just live it. We'll survive. There's got to be food around here. Let's just take one step at a time. At least we're not cold, right?
I hear frogs.
Yes, well, I do know a few things about catching small prey. Had to do that in time past. Perhaps we can see about getting something to eat. And then we would be of a more level head in order to discuss our situation.
Yes.
Already, the minister is rolling up his pant legs and his shaken off his coat and only wears his white undershirt where he loosens the leathers around here and rolls up his sleeves, is beginning to wade out into the water to catch a bullfrog.
I'll start looking for firewood then, I guess.
The wood here is wet, but at least you can find some deadfall that will burn and kindle.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for then.
What of yourself, Dr. Wolf?
I will just sort of get lost in thought, convinced that that the witch is somehow alive and after me, sort of privately in my head.
Does anyone know how to tell edible from inedible when it comes to plants? So that we may have more to eat than just frog.
I should have that ability.
You have a skill rank in survival.
I do.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You have a skill rank in alchemy?
I don't.
Okay.
But I can use it as an untrained skill.
Yeah. Mortimer, you kind of snap out of it. The sun still hangs low and seems to linger on the horizon much longer than you would normally anticipate. The day is the night dusk is incredibly long. In fact, 2 hours have passed. In the glow of the sun, that gray orb, almost green along the horizon, has not moved at all. You manage to scrounge up a frog and put it on a spit and build a small fire. Dragonflies and gnats buzz all about, whereas before you were dressed in the clothing of those you had survived with for nearly 3 weeks in the snows. The blizzard has seemingly brought you elsewhere, a place of long days and unusual skies. Every once so often, as you're kind of sitting around the fire trying to still collect precisely what's happened, you can hear this kind of sound of a jongleur, like the sound of a sitar, perhaps. The sound of drums somewhere out there. A light laughter from a woman, or a man, or a child. It isn't until the sun finally sets that you can see a bonfire just across the swamp, not far from you. And you can see shapes dancing around the fire. You can see this large collection of wagons, travelers. No more than just a few hundred yards out. Your fire so small, perhaps not visible to them. The soupiness, that haze that lingers over the swamp, seems to reach toward every which direction around you, east, west, north, and south, including the sky. But near you, it is thin, but it is still humid. Nothing seems to chase away the heat, or I should say, nothing seems to chase away that lingering kind of air. But you can see others just across the way.
Mortimer, you should put the cards in the box.
They haven't told me what I want to know yet.
Don't hold them for too long.
But I'll put it away if it gives you comfort.
It's not my comfort I'm concerned with. Remember whence those came.
Is there a ritual or a spell, or because I remember since I am an astrologer, I have focuses.
You have cartomancy, I believe.
Oh yeah, because I have every incantation focus.
You do.
So
the faces of these cards
Yeah.
are written in a language you cannot read.
Okay.
The imagery doesn't look anything like you've seen before either. The cards are a mystery, as if they were written in this strange cuneiform or some odd script that is unseeming to you.
Okay.
It's wholly unfamiliar.
Okay.
Imagine if you, Mike, were trying to read hieroglyphs without having Google.
Yeah.
Like, you don't quite understand their meaning, and you've studied them close enough at this point to try to suss out. It may take some time to understand what they mean, some research over time, but as of right now, you can't make heads or tails of them. But without a doubt, they are some sort of device, some prophetic device. You have no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll put them away for now, but I will tend to study them when time permits.
I don't like where those came from, but
Or what they could potentially mean.
I guess none of you except Nigel actually saw where those cards came from, because they were too busy battling like
That's right.
phantasm armor.
Why do you have such umbrage with the deck of cards?
Because that deck of cards was swaddled in a blanket and was a decaying corpse of a child, not, well, but a world ago, I suppose. There's no better way to put it than that.
So,
So Wally was. I thought we heard the baby crying and calling.
we did. I did.
A spirit, a ghost, a phantasm. Child was dead, and it was protected by another shadow, another spirit. I intended to take it, swaddle it up tightly in the blanket, and then cast it into the fire with the hope that that would dispel it, and that would free us of the torment. And instead, we wound up here. And in place of a baby, there are cards. So you can understand my incredulity.
What do you think of these folks being merry and cheerful over here around the fire?
I think we should look. There's no way we can get our bearings without asking anyone.
We have no idea where even at, or if they speak of. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not the White Wolf's men if they're playing sitars and dancing around fires. I'm pretty sure we're nowhere near home.
Only one way to find out.
Yes, I agree. Anybody have reservations?
I have not necessarily reservations with going and speaking with them, but perhaps we should cover a few ground rules on what we should say.
What we traveled through?
Or more or less,
we traveled through time and
more or less what we should not say.
Probably that bit about the traveling through time.
Yes.
I was gonna say.
We're lost in the swamp then.
Well,
that's true enough.
You see, it might seem a bit too suspicious if we start coming out of the swamp and we're like, I'm sorry, where are we? You know, what country are we in? What do you call the land that you stand upon when we are standing in it?
The minister makes a fair point.
If I was engaged in revelry back home, and perhaps people who didn't even look like us, because I can't see them from here, but what if we look out of sorts?
You fear malice from
we
these
already.
people?
I don't think that we're going to have to try terribly difficult to look out of sorts.
Right. I fear that they fear malice from us, should we say the wrong thing. So, no, I don't believe we should have an intricately detailed plan, but just to bear some things in mind. We may not wish to talk about the stone house that we came out of, about how a child turned into a deck of cards. Perhaps we shouldn't even display this deck of cards.
Well, so
I'll tuck it into my robes.
what are these ground
many
rules
pockets.
then? What would you say instead of telling us what not to say?
Oh, you're asking me to tell you how to lie. I do enjoy a good web.
I was asking in general here.
How can we believe you when you say such things?
I was thinking.
So take out your loom and weave us a tale.
Well, here we are. We are a group of foresters. We got lost on our way. We were looking for deer. The
Do you know if there's
woods.
even deer in these woods?
It doesn't matter.
It's a swamp.
Swamp?
The forest gave way to the swamp. Here we are. We followed a deer.
We followed a deer from a forest into a swamp. We are terrible foresters. My whole livelihood has been surrounded by foresters, so I would say if they knew anything, why don't you say Zentish water panthers or something that's from swamps?
Okay, fine. We're merchants.
Okay.
Fresh from the battlefield, selling wares such as these. As I show the mortuary sword.
He pulls out his coat. He pulls out the sword.
So
it was stuck in his. He put it inside of his coat, and he reveals it.
You stole the sword off the wall? I mean, whatever. At this point, that damn damnable house deserves it.
This is my profession, okay?
What? Fine. You can be the merchant. You two can be merchants, and I can be your protector, but she's your doctor. What is Morty then?
Silent. So I don't have to speak to anyone.
Okay, Morty's our minister.
Yes.
He's dumb.
Yes.
As opposed to deaf and dumb, he's just dumb.
Oh, deaf.
Whatever makes me talk to people less.
You spin. I'll stand. Lying does not come well to me.
Very well.
You'll be traipsing around the swamp's edge,
I'll lead the way.
coming closer to this encampment of nomads, vagabonds. These people with dark skin and deep black pools of eyes and hair that appears to be black for the most part, but some appears that their hair has been kissed by the fire. Some of it red and curly and large. They wear strangely, deeply muted clothes that almost seem to be like muted blues and purples and yellows, the color of mustard. You begin to approach, and this woman who was barefoot walking in the marsh, she says something in a language that is at times familiar yet foreign to your ears. Her words seem to kind of flow in and out of your own oldish tongue as she welcomes you into their encampment, where you can see two large blazing fires resting within this crescent of 5 covered wagons, and other men and women of a similar height and dusky complexion seem to be arranged around it, kind of collected, doing a variety of things. Some dancing, some playing music, others watching you and smiling at you with these super pearly white teeth. Another was with his 2 children who are beating some sort of bloated ball with a stick kind of across the swamp out into the water and chasing after it, wading back out into it at night. All these people seem to be collected around what looks like this very, very old woman who looks like they literally peeled her from her grave and kind of sat her in a chair. But there's this, her eyes are kind of this gleaming gray, almost perhaps if they're covered in cataracts. She's clearly blind, but there's this sentience within them regardless. She turns her head toward you and kind of, Come, sit, she says to all of you.
Thank you.
I'm in no position to argue.
As you begin to approach the encampment and these friendly vagabonds welcome you into their camp, we will stop here for the night. All right, 50 reward points.
50.
Sorry, 100, my apologies.
A ranger comes to Harakir. I mean,
So,
He's like, we're never going.
some interesting. So, the things you would expect normally about casting magic is a little bit different here,
Okay.
and will be revealed over time. But things are not as they seem in the world of Ravenloft,
Okay.
which you will discover over time.
Okay.
Some spells will work differently. Sometimes channeling magic will have different effects.
What you saw
But you
tonight.
But you will see
Remember,
what
it
happens
costs
as you
200 to
continue
purchase
your
an
adventures
intermediate.
into the world of Ravenloft.
I can't buy nothing.
Yeah, unless you wanted to buy.
So
focus.
corruption tonight. Anybody have any corruption besides Mike?
I think everybody got at least one.
Yeah,
I only got 22.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I actually didn't get any.
Once
Oh,
you
you
go
didn't?
all in
Okay.
with that corruption, you
Oh,
might
you
as well
didn't touch
just
the
go
armor,
all in.
did
You're
you?
gonna fail every
Okay.
time anyway.
I thought everybody touched armor.
Nope.
Nope.
If the number rolled is greater than the corruption you gain, you increase your order rank 1 step. 10.
All right. Order.
I actually just received
In the
another.
court.
I actually just received another fate point for maxing out my order ranks.
Oh, interesting.
Just
Yep.
making sure. So I had 22.
You
So that gives
maxed
me
out your
2
order?
automatic chaos
His
ranks.
previous character.
Oh,
I
that's
had
right.
9
Yeah,
coming
that's
out.
right.
Yep.
Yes.
And you just left.
So I
it,
wouldn't
that makes
get
total sense.
So
You
I
get
just-
2. That's it.
just
Do I
2.
need to
I wouldn't
stop
get one
this?
order,
That's
even though.
that's correct.
Right. So just 2.
So
stopped?
we will continue next week with Curse of Tatyana. This was the session 0 for us. I had a good time. I hope you guys
Yeah,
did too.
definitely.
Yeah.
It's a little. This is going to have a little bit different pace than previous games. It's going to be a little jarring at first, a little more action packed, but
Like it.
yeah, you're going to discover some things that you're not accustomed to in Zweihänder in this.
Yeah, it'll be chocked full of action.
All right. So we'll resume, I believe, next week. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.